Hi, welcome to Team Wool Sheep Reviews. Right, I said earlier that I'm going to put the NAZA M, which Father Christmas brought me. Thank you, Father Christmas. It's going in here. So my little hex that I use for flying around videoing is now going to have, hopefully, the NAZA M working on it. So I'm going to strip it down, swap out the flight controller, and this is going to be configured it. So I don't know whether I'll do it in one video. If anybody's interested in the itty bitty detail of this, I could cover that too. So first things first, I'm going to strip it down. I won't be rushing. Fly in there, so that's going to sit there right in the center, absolutely smack bang in the middle. So superb. So all I need now is a deck to fit in there. Where am I going to get one of them from? However, I found this is the side of my 210. So what I'm going to do is drill 4 holes in there, mount that there as a base, away to go. So yeah, that'll be a nice little platform for it. Power distribution board underneath, a little bit of screening from the carbon fibre. What more could you want? Right, so if you're working with the NAZA 32 configuration previously, just to show you, the NAZA configuration, motor 1 is the back right, 2 is the front right. On the NAZA board, motor 1 is the front right, not the rear right, so significant difference to be mindful of. Put the LED actually on the back corner. As you can see, there's the a plug for programming it, so I want it visible from above, so it's just should be just sticking out from the cover. So when I put the top plate on, it'll be visible, so I can see the flashing, the verifications, etc., etc. So I'm going to plug it all in and see if we can get it back to more or less as it was. Not as clear cut as I thought. The height of the flight controller was a little bit higher than the stand, so I had to get creative. I had to take down the power distribution board, take the spacer out, I put a rubber pad underneath it to make sure that there's no risk of it shorting out, which meant I lowered the base, and now the receiver's on there and it's stuck on with a foam pad. So I got the OSD, this is the old Taro OSD that I was using previously, still there. There's a separate GPS for that. So I've got these collapsible folding GPS mounts. So I managed to get the video transmitter in there. That's on a little plate slotted in. So it's not actually fixed in, it's actually slotted in and can't go anywhere. So, and I made a little mount for the antenna out of plastic with a little bit of carbon fibre tape because I'm a tart. Yeah, so I'm going to wire the GPS. The UHF is on ppm, so and I've got a big nose 13 dipole that's made for me with base coil So yeah, so far looking good. So all I need to do now is sort out the wiring, tidy it up, and yeah, we're in business. Ready to set this up, no problem. Right, it's UHF, so it's easy UHF with the easy UHF module. Now first thing to bind this is to turn it on to low power. To get it into bind mode, you power up the transmitter with your finger held on the failsafe bind button. Has to be in low power though. After holding it for a couple of seconds while your transmitter starts up, you'll then get a series of beeps. That series of beeps shows that it's actually in bind mode. Right, at this point, it's time to power up the hexacopter. Now when you power up the hexacopter, there's no bind plug or anything like we used to with Spectrums. You don't power up holding buttons, you simply power it up. Never have the props on because that's a safety, good health and safety. Make sure the props are all off. I've actually bound it so everything's done. Now on this is the 4-channel setup with PPM. So I've got, I think, either 8 or 12 channels. Right, you'll notice on all of them they'll have a bind button. Pulse LED, that's what you're looking for, a series of pulses, and you have a bind button. What you do when it's powered up, you actually press and hold the bind button for approximately 2 seconds. Not 3, less than 3, because that'll do something else. Press and hold that for 2 seconds, then you'll see, after you've let go, you'll see that start to pulse, and it gives you like a heartbeat. When that's pulsing, that means it's actually bound. At that point, you power it down, power your transmitter down. With your transmitter power down, and that power down, it's all bound and ready to go. Whenever you're binding, obviously always make sure you've got, it's a transmitter needs the aerial, so make sure the aerial's on. This is the diamond antenna, the extra length, and works quite well with this setup. A point to mention, when trying to bind these two, if they are on different firmware, you will not get a bind. So you have to make sure that this is the same firmware as your transmitter. I think they come at the moment 1.5 seems to be a standard that they're being sent out at. It works perfectly well. There is updates. However, if you update one, you have to update them all. So just to bear that in mind, it's not a problem. One problem I had is I use a Mac. You cannot download the software for a Mac, which is a bit of a bummer really, but it needs to be done on PC, so don't waste any time trying to do it on a Mac. If you've got a Mac, forget it, get a PC, laptop, desktop, whatever it is, and download it on there. It works no problem then. It was a little bit strange to get into, but basically you plug it in, it connects to it. You need like Windows, you need the little drivers for the USB to become a comms port, etc, etc. Once it's seeing it, no problem at all. So plug it in, upload the firmware, upgrade it, downgrade it, whatever you need to do to make sure they all match. So I've emphasized that, and that's something that catches a lot of people out. So obviously whenever you're powering any transmitters up, make sure you've got aerials on, so don't try and do things without aerials on. So same as your VTX, you keep the aerial on. So right, now the NASA, there's the socket, it's on the LED, it's the NASA M Lite. I've downloaded the NASA M Lite onto my laptop, so I will now show you the software.